Good evening and welcome to Friday Night Blitz on live stream STL. We're live from Grandview High School. Our matchups between the Herculaneum Black Cats and the Grandview Eagles. Ray Halbrook along with Mr. Scott Latta and Mr. Brian Kaplinger. Herculaneum Black Cats, they are very, very banged up, but starting to get on the mend a little bit here. This is either going to be a very, very close game, very grindy game, or this is going to end up being some sort of blowout game. You just never know when it comes to Herculaneum and Grandview.
Yeah, the real thing is just take care of the football and do our jobs. They are very aggressive up front on defense, and if we let them, they're going to bring it to us, and so we kind of have to take care of business there. And then on the defensive end, kind of the same idea. We kind of have to re-identify ourselves and figure out what we're about, because I think we thought we found our identity there early on, and then you start going through some tough times, and all of a sudden, like I said, nobody's sure, nobody's confident anymore. They kind of lose their focus and their trust in what's happening, and so I think this week's kind of a week where we want to see if we can figure that out again.
Keep playing good defense. I think that's kind of been our calling card. We have to continue to do that, tackle well, maybe get a couple takeaways. Then offensively, just move the football, sustain drives, and score some points. I mean, it's no secret. We got to score some points.
Right.
Drop back. He's pressured. He's got a man deep. Touchdown! Just as we predicted right there. A little razzle-dazzle to the left side. Great job of the receiver correcting to the ball. Got it. Yeah, the defender lost in space, and he just easily steps into the end zone. 6-0 Herculaneum.
Right.
And if you're a Herculaneum fan, getting points early and a touchdown, got to feel good.
You definitely feel good, especially, if you're quarterback Keaton Reeves right there. I mean, you're throwing up a 50-50 ball.
Otherwise, they're looking to give away good field position once again. Number 4 in the flat. Gets to the outside. He's got a blocker. It's a foot race between him and number 1. Down the sideline. He is wide open. 15, 10, 5, touchdown. No flags. That was coming. Another high snap. Little quarterback pitch right there. In space. He's got one man to beat. 30, 20. He's got the corner. Touchdown number 4. His second touchdown of the evening is Wyatt Kime.
It's always funny how those big plays seem to happen, right after a big turnover like that. And so you see Grandview not wasting any time. Nice option play. Great job by Wyatt Kime to get it in the end zone with a lot of grass in front of him.
And look at that. You could tell the motivation. He is like, he sees pay dirt, and he's like, I'm getting there. 6 on the Herculaneum Black Cats. The kick is muffed back at the 15. Number 11 gets to the sideline.
Oh, no.
And he's got no one over here.
There he goes.
He is going to take it all the way to the house. Number 11, Mason Morton. How unlikely is that 85-yard kickoff return for a touchdown?
Right. Bobbled it from the beginning, but was just there to pick it up. Made one cut, and then kind of the rest is history as you saw him streaking down the sideline. I think we anticipated it being a defensive battle right from the beginning, and it hasn't disappointed in that. I think both offenses have done a great job of moving the ball on certain drives. They've just kind of shot themselves in the foot a couple times with some bad snaps, bad penalties, those type of things that have stalled some drives out. But we've seen some tremendous big plays from both sides as well.
Snap, quarterback draw. He found a seam and into the end zone for a touchdown. Number 10.
Yes, that's Keaton Reeves, and that's that same play. They've kind of been running it in key moments all night so far. It's just kind of just off guard tackle with that quarterback draw, and that time found some space and got in the end zone.
So that takes the score to 18-14. Down 10 from the 16. Quarterback option, pitches it to number 4, and he's got some room, and he's going to take it to the house. Wyatt Kime.
It's a great run.
Great pitch right there by Martin. Waited, drew in the defender, pitched it to Kime. Kime had a full head of steam going diagonally, and that man is tough to stop.
Absolutely. I think no one was cheering louder than the Grandview defense on the sideline, because they're like, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Last play of the game.
With one timeout, you can
drop
get the
back.
first down.
And that one is picked off. And he will go down. The clock has run out. Grandview prevails 21-18 in a nail-biter. What a great effort by both teams. Herculaneum just came up a little short, but they gave it the old high school try tonight.
Hello again and welcome to Upon Further Review, where we review this last week's games around the area, and then we preview next week, and then we'll have our couple of coaches here along the way. We'll have along the way of this show, along with some, we'll be crowning a brand new Player of the Week and some honorable mentions. Without further ado, we'll bring in our guests. That will be Mr. Matt Bates and Mr. Jeff Whitener. Gentlemen, how's it going? How you doing, Matt?
I am one less property in my portfolio, but I am well relaxed and ready to go.
Somebody sold a house. That's what I'm getting, right?
That would be me. Yes, sir.
Jeffrey has he had a monkey for a cup, so show that monkey again. There you go. Do you have a name for that cup?
Not yet, but I just wanted to show that we are monkeying around a little bit this week. But I am not the real estate magnate that Matt is, but I am prepared nonetheless to talk football today with you fellas.
All right, and let's talk some football here. We are going into the Week 6 results. Can you guys believe we've been through 6 weeks already?
Wow.
Unbelievable.
I know.
Unbelievable.
You know, I mean, we're as always, Mr. Ray. We're going to kick off the show talking about the games that we had covered here on Livestream STL. So, you were at the Grandview Herky game, and again on paper with the score, Grandview eking this out 21-18. Talk to us since you were there at that game, Ray. Because I see Luke Bryce was back in the lineup, and I also saw that Reeves was back at the quarterback spot. Bryce, 75 yards on the ground. Reeves, throwing the ball around 137. Herculaneum, when was the last time you talked about them getting 300 yards in a game?
Right.
So, talk to us, because it looked like both teams were evenly matched. So, what was the key to Grandview coming out on top, sir?
I think it was basically just the longevity of the whole thing. They knew they didn't have a lot of offense to roll with, in Herculaneum, plus the injuries. They were getting some guys back. However, it was just, not quite enough, unfortunately. Talking to Coach Coach Kimminau was a pretty interesting. He had a really good confidence with him on the field. So it was a really he had a lot of confidence in going to this thing, saying, I think it's going to be a really good game. We talked about it a little bit during the pregame, before the pregame or whatnot on the field, and I told both coaches, I said, this is either going to be like a 7-6 game, something close, which it did end up being a close game, or a big blowout where there's, the defense is like, well, we're just going to throw the defense to the wayside. But, fortunately for Grandview, it was not a blowout. It wasn't a barn burner per se, and that played into their hand, I think. 21-18 the final score. Herculaneum had a last second dig to throw up, kind of threw up a Hail Mary in the end zone. Unfortunately, it got intercepted, and that ended the game. But exciting game. I mean, both teams played a lot. There was a lot of rushing yards there. Not a lot of passing, but a couple of good breaks for some yardage here and there. But a lot of ground and pound. But great game overall. I mean, I was talking to Scott. Scott being a Grandview guy, he's looking at, hey man, we might be in this game at halftime, and by third quarter we had kind of said, hey, we're this could go either way. And I said, this has been such an exciting game. I don't care who wins this game, because for both programs it's going to be good. So 21-18 the final score there. Let's move on to. Do you guys want to elaborate on any of that?
Well, I just wanted to say real quick, and going back and watch the game film on that one, guys. To me, the biggest difference in that game was turnovers. Herculaneum turned the ball over, a couple of key interceptions for Grandview, and from my perspective, that's a case of getting some guys back. You're getting your quarterback back, but it's his first game back after a long layoff. So, getting that timing, getting that rhythm there, there were so many little things Herky could point to in that game and say, yeah, we could have probably pulled this one out. But hopefully going forward now, they're getting those guys back, starting to get healthy, and they'll get some momentum going as we start to head towards district playoffs.
Hey, we are catching up with Coach Jason Kimminau from the Grandview Eagles. Coach, how you doing?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Awesome. Hey, big win over Herculaneum this weekend, and being there and covering it there, 21-18. Very, very exciting ending to the game, and you got to have some good vibes going into next week as well. But talk a little bit about the game here. We're looking at stats wise here. Wyatt Kime, 11 rushes, 104 yards, 3 touchdowns. And then Nash Moore, they call him Nash the Bash. That's what I've been told. So Bash Moore, 14 rushes, 64 yards, and you're pretty efficient. So proficient. You didn't have to throw the ball a lot there. Only 8 times there, 4 of 8 for 120 yards for Brendan Martin there, and a touchdown. But talk to us a little bit about your thoughts on the game.
Yeah, no, it was a great game for us, right? It was awesome to see us kind of bounce back from some rough weeks the last few weeks and play a game for all 4 quarters, right? I think our trick has been the last few weeks just getting ourselves in bad situations in the first half. And so to see us come out kind of from the gate and be able to handle some adversity and then be able to bounce back and set ourselves up for a good second half was really big for us this week. And again, playing with a good team, I feel like I've said it all along. Anytime anybody asks me, we play in a really tough conference. Every game's gonna be a tough one. You gotta stay on your game if you want to compete. And so it was nice to see us do that.
Absolutely. And let's talk a little bit about this is your second. Is this your second season here?
Yeah. Year 2.
That's what I thought. Year 2, because we kind of been tracking a little bit the last couple of years here. Seems like the buy-in is working. And it seems like there's a lot of growth going on. You're starting to solidify some of the culture there at Grandview. Give us your thoughts on the past 2 years.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I think from year 1 to year 2, we've definitely seen some growth, right? Both, on and off the field, right? I think this off season was substantially better for us over the summer. Kids showing up and doing all the right things and putting in all the work that you want to see in an off season. Both in the weight room and then at football camp and all that stuff. And so then just in general, our numbers are a little better this year compared to last. We were under 30 players on our high school team last year, and this year we're kind of in that mid 30 range, and we've kind of gone up and down with some injuries and stuff like that have really hurt us. But other than that, I think it's been really good, and I think that's why you've seen a little bit more consistency from our guys week in and week out.
Excellent. You have the Jefferson Blue Jays this week, and man, they're flying high right now at 6-0. But I know your win this week, I think, brings a little bit of momentum, a little bit of that mojo into this week with Jefferson. Give us the outlook, or maybe a game plan on how to stop those flying high Blue Jays.
No, I think they're always a good team, right? Well coached, right? Good kids who work really hard. It's just you watch them and you see them compete right from start to finish. I know this past week, they were down at half against Perryville on Saturday, and they came out and just took care of business and grinded out a tough one yesterday and won it in the second half, which is what good football teams do. And so for us, coming into that, we just have to be able to do what we did this week and be able to deal with some of the adversity in the first half and be able to bounce back and make plays, take shots from them, but then also be able to give some back and not let ourselves get down when maybe things aren't going exactly perfect, right? Because that's the name of the game. So
Absolutely.
We take care of the ball and take care of business. I think, we'll be okay.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate the time, Coach, and congratulations on the win last week here, but good luck to you next week.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
It's Jason Kimminau from the Grandview Eagles.
Good evening and welcome to Friday Night Blitz on live stream STL South. We are live from J.J. Comerford Stadium at Crystal City High School, home to the Crystal City Hornets. Our matchup tonight is between the 2-3 Russellville Indians and the 4-1 Crystal City Hornets. Matt Bates here in the Breeze Dental Care pregame show press box, and alongside me, producer Eli Yunt. It is homecoming night here for the Crystal City Hornets, and tonight is their last regular season home game, as tonight in week 6 they will spend the next 3 weeks on the road. 11 first quarter action here for Friday Night Blitz on live stream STL as a blitz is picked up. Mays gets the ball, stops at the 5, goes in, give him 6. 11-yard TD pass from Eisenbeis to number 8, Cam Mays. Makes the score Crystal City 6, Russellville nothing. PAT at their own 43-yard line, so 57 yards to pay dirt. One wide receiver down low in front of us, that's Mays. Spread it out just a little bit. He comes back, gets a block. That is Camden Bolton. Bolton up the sideline, 57 yards on the TD run for Camden Bolton. Got the big block from Mays, and Bolton takes it right up the sideline. They're in control right now. Keeper by Eisenbeis breaks out to the 5, to the house. Give him 6. 20-yard run for Nolan Eisenbeis for the time being. Eisenbeis under center, looks to throw. Going to go to the corner of the end zone. Mays over the shoulder. Did he do enough to stay in? Touchdown, Crystal City. 25-yard pass. Points off of turnovers will kill you. So that is Mays. 25-yard TD pass. Once again, high formation. Raftery. Nope, that's going to be Eisenbeis calling his own number, and he's going to sneak right into the end zone. That was a great sell by Eisenbeis, who starts the third quarter. Eisenbeis with fence posts left in the third quarter. So maybe I didn't hear what I thought I heard. But anyway, drop back. Seaver off the back foot. It's up in the air a long time, and that's picked off by Mays. Breaks out of the tackle by Shrimp. He's at the 40, 35-30. Wrapped up by Barons and brought down at the 33-yard line, and that is where the Hornets will take over. No wide receivers up top, still in the pistol formation. Wolf's the other one, but they're going to run a handoff to our side. There goes Compton. He's going to take it to the end zone. Touchdown Hornets, 27-yard TD run by Colin Compton. So Crystal City with the answer back. Compton on that one, and that will bring it into the ball game as the clock strikes 0, and the Crystal City Hornets move to 5-1.
Our next game, Mr. Matt's game there, Crystal City 42 and Russellville 8 on live stream STL South. Matthew, you got to see Caden Bolton and Rafferty, up close and personal, so to speak. How'd that game go?
This was just a slow, methodical butt whooping that the Hornets put on Russellville. Now improving to 5-1. Eisenbeis, on paper, great game, passing 4-4, 58 yards, no TDs, threw a pick, 6 carries, 77 yards, but it was definitely Caden Raftery that, as Ray and we were talking Saturday, Raftery is the straw that stirs the drink for this offense that Eisenbeis doesn't get many of the yards that he gets if it isn't for the blocking of Raftery up front, and that's the same way with Caden Bolton. Camden Bolton, whenever they run that sweep option. Really, it's Raftree either leading the way or making a key block on the end to seal it off so that Bolton can sneak around and bust up through the line, which, Bolton only had 6 carries, but he knocked out 108 yards, a couple big carries as a result of a lot of the blocking up front by Raftree, who he had 15 carries, 128 yards, knocked out about 8.5 yards a pop. So, I say the team goes pretty much the way Caden Raftery goes. So if he has a solid day blocking and can open up the holes and create what he does back in the backfield, I think that's what gets Crystal City over the top.
Yeah, Matt, it's watching that Crystal City game, I was reminded so much of what Jefferson does. Your small schools, those 2 schools in particular, do a great job of seal blocking on the outside. They're able to run the ball off tackle and run the ball farther outside because they've got great blocking on the outside to make that happen. And watching that Crystal City game, it reminded me a lot of what R7 does offensively as well. And just on that outside type of run. But that team definitely molded in Dan Fox's his vision for what a team can be. And like you said, slow, methodical. And now Crystal City's moved up to number 10 in the state. They've actually jumped over St. Vincent in Class 1 for their ranking. So kudos to Dan Fox and his crew.
And as we say week after week, Jeff, and even last year, that as close as this program was to getting the plug pulled on it, and then to now where Fox has this program at to where in a matter of just a couple years, you now have them as one of the top teams in the state of Missouri. I mean, that's almost shout out coach of the week stuff, if you will. That impressive job.
Hey, we're catching up here with Crystal City Hornets head coach Dan Fox. How you doing, Coach?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. 42-8, big win over Russellville last night, and let's talk a little bit about your 1-2 punch of Bolton and Rafferty. They had pretty good nights, and maybe tell us a little bit about the game.
Well, I mean, Russellville's a very tough team. We run similar offenses, and we knew coming into the game that it was going to be a physical battle. So we were finally getting a little bit healthy, and I think Russellville was a little bit banged up, but we were able to get a lot of facets of the game going, and we were able to throw the ball a little bit. Started rotating a lot of younger kids in there. Some kids that don't get as much playing time as the starters. They allowed them to score. In the fourth quarter, right now. But the kids played hard. The kids were hungry for a win. Last year we went down there and we lost by 2 points. We thought we scored in the last second play. That was overturned by the officials, and so they came with 2 points. But the chip on their shoulders.
Absolutely. I'm having a little bit of an issue with my microphone here. Sorry about that. But, we'll talk a little bit about the buy-in here. You've had some pretty good success here the last couple of years. And what have you been preaching? What's been the buy-in? Maybe it's a certain culture you're trying to build. What's that look like? And what is that, kind of built over the last couple of years?
I'm really blessed right now with a great senior class. We have 9 seniors on the team, which is kind of unheard of for a school our size. And they've just been guys that they don't miss over the summer. They're enrolled in weight room activities throughout the school year. They're physically ready for the game of football and other sports as well. I mean, that's why they do what they do. They've been able to manage to be pretty healthy. And we've got just guys that have been doing it for a long time now. We're doing a lot of the same stuff we did when they were freshmen, and they understand their role. And we change some things up here and there, just try to have a little bit of break up the monotony of what we do. But we've got guys in the right position, and we're trying to exploit some of their better characteristics that they have that they can apply to the game of football. So I ask these guys anytime they want to do something, yeah, they believe they can do it, and that's half the battle. And when you start winning some games, it doesn't matter what the score is. They're going to fight, and they think they're going to win every game they go out there, which is a great problem to have at Crystal City right now. I mean, they believe.
Absolutely, and winning is a once it becomes a thing, it really fixes a lot, doesn't it, Coach?
Yeah, it fixes a lot. And for a while there, when I first took over the program, we were still struggling a little bit. But I think after about, like year 3 or 4, you could see some things changing for us. And then, like I said, this group of seniors right now, even as juniors, very competitive group, constantly arguing with each other all the time, and it's to the point just because they're competitive. But I'd rather have that problem than kids that aren't competitive and don't want to be out there and are just going through the motions. So,
yeah, that is definitely a good problem there. Final question for you, Coach, and we'll let you go here. Van Far is on the schedule for next week, and I know we were talking just before this. Going to be a tough one there, and they're a pretty doggone good teams. So, what is the game plan? What do you want to try to accomplish to, try to pull off a win there?
Well, really, I mean, it's going to be a very tough game. It was a tough game last year. It was a very physical game last year. I'm sure they're out to get us. We got to travel pretty far up there to their area, and we don't necessarily travel the best as a team. So we're going to try to get over that, hey, we got to go on the road and win some games that we've got going on. They run a variety of offensive formations, a variety of offensive plays. Their quarterback appears to be a fairly good athlete. He also plays some safety for them. They're going to hustle to the ball nonstop and be pretty relentless. So we gotta get our heads screwed on, and then we got to get going. I'm glad that we got homecoming over with, and we can, and senior nights over with, and we can just get back to focusing on football.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we appreciate the time, Coach, and good luck to you next week.
Thank you, Ray. Appreciate it.
Hey, Coach Fox, I should say. Dan Fox from the Crystal City Hornets. Thanks, Coach. Moving on here, St. Vincent 58, Bayless 12. We'll go by threes here. Festus 42, North County 14, Fredericktown 27, DeSoto 25. That was a good game. Let's start with Jeff on any of those three games.
Well, the one game obviously that sticks out there is the Fredericktown DeSoto game, fellas. A game that DeSoto came very close to winning. Fredericktown came back, and the last one was able to get a touchdown on the board there. Another thing I'm seeing, guys, with these scores, and this game is an example when you look at the final scores and the kind of the crooked numbers up there is teams that can develop a kicking game and special teams, even for extra points. Those extra points mean so much, and we saw it in a couple games. We saw it with Herculaneum not being able to get into the end zone. It's very difficult, I know, for small schools to find that kicker, but if you've got one, even for extra points, they're like gold. And those extra points mean a lot. And that's the one thing I walked away for that. Eli Tebow, 124 yards on 28 carries, also 8 tackles on defense. He did everything he could for the Dragons, but it just wasn't meant to be. The other games, pretty much as expected, fellas.
Yeah, I agree. DeSoto, great job, Eli Tebow. Tough day at the office, gets the 2 TDs. And as you were mentioning earlier, Jeff, about the passing in the smaller schools here, and you look at DeSoto, Missy, 3 of 15 for 87 yards with a TD and no INTs. But you see some of the limited passing in some of the other games here, like with Eisenbeiss going 4 of 4. But this was a game where Missy chucked the ball up 15 times, only completed 3 passes. So I don't know if that is just not being able to connect with the receivers, or if that was just under pressure, missing some throws. But again, looking at the day that Connor Siebert had, The pick six, an 80-yard return for a TD, had 3 quarterback sacks, and this was a guy that was on my radar last week for his kickoff returning proficiency or lack thereof, because 2 of them were called back by penalties. But you know that there are some little nuggets that Coach Schmidt, as he says week after week, as long as we're showing some signs of improvement, the record may not reflect it, but that's the right direction he's wanting the program to get to. So again, with the injection of spunk and fire that Coach Schmidt's putting into the Dragons and into the community, yeah, they're 1-5 on paper, but I got a feeling that this 2-point loss to Fredericktown put a sour taste in their mouth, and I bet they can't wait to get back out on the field again next week.
Agreed.
Of note in that Hillsborough game, I would say, if I could throw out an additional honorable mention, Marchetti, yeah, their normal PAT kicker, he was out, and they had to rely on sophomore Caleb Arnold, and he had 7 PATs in that game for the Hillsborough Hawks. So, yeah, 69-12, but you had a sophomore that hadn't attempted any PATs this year, and he knocked 7 through the pipes. So, way to go, Caleb Arnold.
There you go. Fredericktown 27, DeSoto 25. We've just covered that there. Hillsborough 69, Windsor 12, Seckman 49, Parkway South 7, Poplar Bluff 24, Fox 19, Oakville 48, Northwest 7. I'll even add Eureka 34 and Pattonville nothing, and we're all going to agree that none of those games really were surprising, correct?
Well, that would be correct. Well,
with the exception of the Eureka Pattonville game, you know, Pattonville came into that game 4-1 and had some pretty big victories on the season. For Eureka to come in there, Eureka at 3-2, and to me, they really served notice to a very good Pattonville team that. You know, the Wildcats, might have struggled early in the season, but they're starting to get their act together. So I was surprised that they were able to shut out the Pirates in that game.
I was looking at the Poplar Bluff Fox game. I had that one highlighted last week at, that maybe Fox could eke one out with the long road trip for Poplar Bluff coming up, and 5-point loss. I mean, Fox, they got this thing to 14-13 in the third quarter. Aiden Smith was held in check, had a modest day, but Cam Underwood, 3 rushes, 58 yards, was 4 of 6, 62 with 1 TD, and receiver Orlando Taylor, 3 catches, 112 yards. But Underwood and Aiden Smith, 154 of the 212 yards for Fox. So Coach Tinker still has his work cut out for him as well, too, how to, get the Fox Warriors back on track as well.
Any of those other games you guys want to take a look at?
Oakville, Oakville, Ethan Venable held in check, but they had 9 running backs, and they had only 39 carries, but no running back had more than 10 yards in that game. So on paper, Oakville, now at 4-2, took it to Northwest and did what they needed to do. Jeff?
I just want to go back. I didn't know if you'd mentioned there the Seckman Parkway South game, Ray, when we were talking about those. But Seckman, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the quarterback there for Seckman, Tommy Gabar, and what he did this week. But one thing about the Jaguars, and I've gone back and watched several of their games now, at least in Jefferson County, they're a Class 6 team. No one blocks like the Jaguars. Their offensive line is something to behold, and for some of us old line guys that really focus on that when we watch the games, it's a thing of beauty if you get a chance to really. And I'm sure we'll see Seckman down the road here as the season moves on, but Tommy Gabar, he ought to take those guys out for a steak dinner on every Saturday after a Friday night game.
Hey, we're here with our Player of the Week, or upon further review, Player of the Week, Tommy Gabar from the Seckman Jaguars. How you doing, Tommy?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Awesome. Man, I've heard nothing but amazing things about you all season so far. We bring you up from time to time. We haven't really seen you face to face yet, but kind of talking to you here. Kind of being the predecessor for Cole Rubel last season, who's off at SEMO now. But and you told me a little bit that you were the running back, kind of the guy that led the way, blocking for Cole for all these years, and now all of a sudden you get the rock now. So was that a planned thing that last year?
Yeah, pretty much.
Awesome. So talk about your stats here a little bit. This is just some unbelievable stuff here, Tommy. 14 of 15 on the season. You have a quarterback rating of 210, and that's probably got to be close to the top. Also, 46 attempts, 461 yards, 10 touchdowns. You have 10 rushing touchdowns, 3 passing touchdowns. Kind of picked up where Cole left off. Take us through what that was like when Coach kind of approached you about that last year.
Well, I already had some quarterback experience my sophomore year. I played quarterback on JV my sophomore year, and then I was running back my junior year, so I already had a little background in the quarterback area. I just had to get a lot of work done in the off season with like 7-on-7s and stuff, so I could get the reads down for some varsity football this season.
Awesome. And talk about the 6-0 Seckman Jaguars as well here, man. You guys have been rolling. Big, huge win early in the season over Valley Catholic. I mean, to beat a Valley Catholic, you got to be doing a lot of things right. Take us through maybe what's going through the camaraderie with the locker room right now. I mean, just the team as a whole, just firing on all cylinders, and the chemistry. What's that been like?
I mean, it's great. We're having fun. We all trust each other. We're just getting our jobs done. We're not trying to be the hero. We're just working as a team and getting stuff done.
Coach Bill Belichick says, do your job, basically, is what you're trying to say, right? There you go. I got it. Awesome. Now, have you been being seen or been contacted by any colleges at this point yet?
Not really, no.
But you do want to go on and hopefully pursue some college?
I do want to play college football, yes.
Awesome. Well, we hope to help you get out there and get your name out there a little bit. And you've got Pattonville this week. Give us a little insight on what you guys want to do against Pattonville.
I mean, Coach Bear just says it's just another game, get the job done, but it's a big game. It determines our home field advantage in the playoffs. We don't want to go down to Jackson again like we did our sophomore year because you know how that environment is in the pit. So we'd like to bring Jackson up here for the district championship at Seckman.
Absolutely. Well, man, we appreciate catching up with you, and congratulations on Player of the Week this week.
Thank you.
It's Tommy Gabar from the Seckman Jaguars. I agree.
Jeff, is this a new thing that we're seeing in the area? Because you mentioned the continuity and the line blocking of Seckman, but I'm seeing a lot of schools like DeSoto, to name one, that it seems like every other snap they're rotating the lineman at like the starting left tackle all of a sudden will move to either like right guard, right tackle. The next play he's back at either left guard, left tackle. Is that a new thing in the county, or is this just something that we've missed and it's just flown under the radar?
Well, I think you're just seeing the evolution of football to begin with, because we've seen it more at the pro and college level too, and I think it's trickling down now to high school. You know, the positions on the line, it's important as an O-lineman to be able to play left side, right side now, play guard, play tackle. You know, about the hardest position that would be to transition into is center, obviously. And we're still seeing a lot of bad snaps hit the center and the shotgun on all levels here in the county. But that's just a function of, it started with defensive lines 10, 15, 20 years ago. We're rotating defensive linemen in, and we're seeing it now on offense too. So got to be versatile. Obviously, offensive linemen, guys, as you well know, some of the smartest guys on the field.
There you go, right?
Yes.
All right, let's move down to our final three there. St. Pius X, 55, Cuba 6. Jefferson ekes out a win at Perryville, 28-6. And then our live stream STL Saturday game, Friday Night Blitz on a Saturday game there. Roosevelt pulls out a win 28-23 over DeBerg. Let's start with Matt.
Really not much to say about the Pius game other than, Lane had a, great day at the office, 16 carries, 238 yards, 4 TDs. We'll be talking about him a little later on, his 11 tackles. I mean, he pretty much had check marks in every box that you could, either offensively or defensively. The DeBerg Roosevelt game, I mean, that was DeBerg led 9-0 and got to see a 42-yard field goal in that game. DeBerg came in looking to snap a 2-game losing streak. Roosevelt looking to snap a 3-game losing streak. But, for those that saw the game and listened to our streamcast, I mean, it was penalty after penalty after penalty. And in particular, recall the drive where Roosevelt, got it down to the DeBerg 15. And by the time that drive was over, they were all the way back after a month snap on a punt. They were back at their own 30-yard line. So, I mean, it was just a comedy of errors for everybody up and down. And Masters kind of held in check, only throwing for 150. But, he would have had about 60 yards added to that had he connected with Staub on the one in the first series if he doesn't drop that at about the 10-yard line, because he had clear sailing into the end zone. But Davion Sides, what a day. 11 tackles, 1 sack. And but a great job by Zalik McLean, 13 carries, 130 yards. And great use of the replay, too, getting that firsthand, the Gordon stoplight replay capability. As I wanted to bring to your attention, Ray, that remember when Kyle Colombini got hurt, number 8 for Bishop DeBerg near the end?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Gordon stoplight replay showed that number 23, Davion Johnson, comes by and just blindsides Colombini. And hits him up in the head, and he just went about his business like he didn't do anything at all. And Colombini was just knocked out, essentially. But because I was just wanting to go back to see what happened to him, because the way he was laying there, it wasn't like a leg injury or anything like that. And on the replay, you clearly see up in the corner, he comes by and just blow right to the head. So, I would like to have Mr. Jeff set up the Jefferson-Perryville game, because only seeing that on paper, Cole Williams, I guess he goes by Coleslaw, but I would say throw in Cole Train as well, too, because with the Coleslaw, not only does he shred the D, but that Cole Train just keeps chugging along, and what a day he had throwing the ball around the field as Class 2 beats Class 4, Jeff.
Well, before I do that, let me fill up the monkey, guys. We'll fill up the monkey at least to his eyeballs here, because that's going to take a little more coffee to talk about.
Shoot.
But first, before we talk about Jefferson and Perryville, let's talk a little bit. I just wanted to give a shout out to our newly found Roosevelt Rough Rider fans who found the channel and appreciated you guys bringing the stream to them Saturday. They were very impressed. So hopefully we've made some new fans and followers along the way. So both my father and my uncle graduated from Roosevelt back in the late 50s, early 60s. So kudos to the Rough Riders.
Very nice. Very nice.
Jefferson and Perryville. Been hearing a lot this week from both camps on that game. A big game for Jefferson to go to Perryville. I knew that it was going to be tough. In fact, I had probably picked Perryville over Jefferson in that game. When you're looking at a school, Class 4 school that has over 800 students in it versus a school in Jefferson that has about 160, I think, in their high school, it's a bit of a mismatch, even though they put Perryville in the I-55 conference last year, and they're a full-fledged member. They are the largest school, double the size of the next largest school, Herculaneum. So I knew it would be a tough task going out there. Heard a lot about Perryville complain about the fact they lost that game was because of turnovers this week, and that is true. But those turnovers occurred on some pretty good pops by the Jefferson defense. They were fired up. They knew they had a big challenge going into that game. They rose to the challenge. They got down early. This is one of those games, guys, where you fall behind, but you don't panic. and you eke it out at the end. And that kind of victory, especially for a team that hadn't really been tested a whole lot except for the St. Pius game, that really solidifies things because you learn how to win. You learn to come from behind. You learn not to panic, to not give up. So just to me, this will go down for me personally. This is probably the best win so far of young coach Matt Atlee's young career here, a year and a half into being at the helm of the R7 team. But the Blue Jays forced 5 turnovers. There's no doubt about that. But in 5 of those turnovers were on some pretty good pops. So it wasn't just a case of Perryville just letting the ball go or throwing to space or just tossing it up there. There were some pretty good hits going on. So that was the defense for the Blue Jays made the difference in that game.
Couple questions for you, Mr. Jeff, as I know you are involved with that Blue Jay program. How comfortable is Cole Williams getting back there at the quarterback spot? I mean, 21 for 37, 361. The play of Max Schnitzler, 6 catches, 145. But talk to me about Cole Williams and his comfortability, and a young man named Jacob Burntz, who I saw got his first touchdown of the season, and who is filling in the roles that were left open by Nate Breeze with his injury. I know. Well, imagine Pemberton on offense, but I don't know where we're at on defense.
Well, on defense, you've got some guys sliding around where you've got Cooper Frisk has taken over both offensively and defensively to fill some of the roles left by the absence of Nate Breeze. Probably the biggest thing, Brendan Burford, who's also the place kicker, wide receiver, but also filling in Nate's role in kind of covering over the top coverage of some of the best receivers on the other team. And I can't say enough about the job that Brandon has done stepping in and filling some pretty big shoes there with Nate Breeze's absence. Bruntz is sort of the utility guy you could put anywhere. Really, Max Schnitzler has really rose to the occasion. At the beginning of the season, he was going to rotate a lot with Carson Hafner. Hafner gets injured very early in the season, but Max has done a phenomenal job both on offense and defense. The thing about Cole Williams, Cole stepped into the job last year. He's a very likable guy. The players kind of want to rally around him. He's got very natural leader skills. He's very tough. He's very mild-mannered and outgoing, but he also has an element of toughness, and he just doesn't panic at all. You'll see him move around in the pocket, but before he throws the ball, he gets set. He'll feel the pressure. He'll move around, but he has really good footwork, and that's what's made him one of the better quarterbacks in the county.
Ruther Ford is the place to shop for your next vehicle. We have a huge selection of new and pre-owned vehicles to choose from, and they're all priced to sell. Not in the market for a new car? We have a great service staff that can keep your car in top shape. Also, be sure to check out our parts department for your next car project. Once again, we're Ruther Ford off I-55, the Herculean Auto Mall.
Family pride is driven home. Ruther Ford, Ruther.com.
The Breeze Dental Care Team consists of dedicated individuals who are caring, kind, and friendly. Our staff is here to ensure a pleasant experience during your visit to our office. Our team includes experienced and energetic people whose goal it is to communicate well with our patients and provide the best care possible. Providing preventative, restorative, and cosmetic care. Schedule a visit by calling 636-937-3030 or find us on the web at breezedentalcare.com.
The House Bar and Grill at your Festus Pasta House is your place to watch all local high school sports live. That's right, I said live. Come in and enjoy all local high school sports brought to you live on our 5 big screen TVs from Livestream STL. Also enjoy our happy hour menu, which includes half-price pizzas, discounted appetizers, and drink specials. We are the best place to gather for your local high school sports, brought to you by Livestream STL at your Festus Pasta House on Highway A, where it's always a great time.
Hey, y'all, it's Jeff from Case and Bucks. Thanks for watching the games today. We appreciate all your business all year long. Don't forget, we've got awesome wings, we got amazing burgers, and we got salads like you wouldn't believe. Come check us out. We have barbecue on Thursdays. We have Southern Nights on Wednesdays. We've got bingo on Tuesdays. We can't wait to see you all. Thanks a bunch, and we look forward to having a great summer with y'all.
And we are back with our schedule for this upcoming week here, week 7 here. We'll take a look at it real quick. We'll bowl through it. Grandview at Jefferson will be our Livestream STL game of the week. On Livestream STL South, North County takes on Windsor. Eureka is at Lafayette. Perryville is at New Badger County Central. Herculaneum at Bayless. Pattonville at Seckman. Oakville at Rockwood Summit. Crystal City at Van Far. Fox at Hazelwood West. Northwest is at Parkway Central. Pacific is at Festus. St. Pius X is at St. Vincent. DeSoto is at Hillsboro. And our live stream STL Friday Night Blitz on a Saturday game, DeBerg will be at O'Fallon Christian. And we will start with Jeff.
Okay, gentlemen, just going down the list real quick. Grandview at Jefferson. It's Jefferson's homecoming. As a coach, you're always worried about getting your players out of their regular schedule for special games. It's homecoming. All of the pomp and circumstance. They're going to honor their 2013 team, which 10 years ago was their first varsity team to graduate at Jefferson. Even with all the stuff going on, Grandview is going to have a big challenge ahead of them there. Now, North County Windsor game, our other live stream game, guys, I have that one circled as a very interesting game. Windsor at home should be able to take care of business against North County, but I like the way that North County matches up against the Owls, so I think that's going to be pretty close. A big Class 5 versus Class 6 game coming up. Eureka at 4-2, ranked 8th in the state, gentlemen, against Lafayette, ranked number 15 in Class 6 at Lafayette. That's going to tell us a lot as far as how the Wildcats are going to be going forward as far as their success, both in the season and in the district down the road. The other games I got circled, Pattonville at Seckman. Pattonville 4-2, ranked 9th in Class 6, versus Seckman at 6-0, ranked 14th. So big game at home. Seckman can say, okay, we're out of the county now. We're playing the big boys in St. Louis County, and this is a big test for them. Oakville at Summit, as we mentioned, Class 5 showdown, 4-2, Oakville versus Summit, the number 1 Class 5 team in the state right now. Oakville's going to have their hands full, but that's a game to watch. But for me, the biggest game, the I-55 game, Class 2 versus Class 1, St. Pius at 4-2 versus St. Vincent at 3-3. St. Vincent 3-3, but those losses have become are non-conference losses. So this game has huge ramifications for the I-55 Conference Championship. Pius goes in there and knocks off St. Vincent. That throws a monkey wrench into everything. But St. Vincent has got to be looked at as the favorite because they've got Pius at home, and the last week of the season they've got Jefferson at home. So with those two victories and running out the schedule in the conference, the Indians can win the I-55 Conference. If they lose to Pius and but they beat Jefferson, that throws a whole bunch monkey wrench into the works. So something to watch moving forward. To me, that's the biggest game of the week for the I-55.
Jeff, I think I'm spot on with you as well too. I was looking at North County Windsor. I've got the Owls, highlighted as a winnable game here for Coach Funston. Eureka, yeah, more than they're going to have to put the work boots on against Lafayette. Um, like one game I just don't know anything about is Perryville at New Madrid County Central. I just because there's not enough, at least available for me to find out about New Madrid County. But the Pirates going to be going on the road, so see how they come back after the game against Jefferson. Herky at Bayless. This, just highlight this as Coach Boss and a winnable game on the road. See where they go from there after getting, a couple players back. Totally agree about Pattonville at Seckman. Oakville's going to have their work boots put on as well, too. They're going to have a tough day against Rockwood Summit. Crystal City going on the road to Vanfar. I think that's more just Crystal City with the long travel to Vandalia and seeing how they respond with the long road trip. Fox at Hazelwood Central. Hazelwood Central, even though at 3-3, they lost to Eureka earlier this year, 63-0. So I would not dare take Hazelwood West out of the mix on this one, with Fox having to travel up there. Pacific at Festus is intriguing, with Pacific at 2-4 heading to Festus. This would just be a matter of Festus trying to just take care of business at home. And the Battle of the Saints with Pius and Vincent. Yeah, that one definitely, I had that highlighted as well, just to, as far as that's just big game material right there. DeSoto, tough sledding, heading to Hillsboro, and then Bishop DeBerg heading to O'Fallon Christian. Don't know anything about OFC, but we'll find out what Coach Masters has drawn up on his game plan for that game on Saturday. But I think back to the point that you had made, Jeff, about the Grandview R7 game with, how they respond with homecoming and all that. I really think that Saturday game they had before this against Perryville, I think will shape them up better than just coming in from a regular week into a homecoming week, where the boys had already had their schedule just discombobulated with that Saturday game. As I was talking to Ray when we were doing the DeBerg game, that was almost like a playoff game in the middle of the year, having your whole routine disrupted. You have a big game on the road against Perryville. You're getting up at like 7 a.m. for a noon kickoff, traveling, all this. You pull the big win out. I think really the only thing with this would be is just not letting your guard down if you're Coach Atley and the guys that just keep staying true to the course and to the game plan. But I think that Saturday game in the middle of the year was, I think, not just game wise, but just scheduling wise, one of their biggest tests to overcome. So, Grandview R7, be glad to do that game and bring home a winner for the Blue Jays and that Blue Tiger media, Mr. Jeff.
I agree. Just 2 points real quick. New Madrid County, you talked about a little bit. They are undefeated Class 2. They're ranked 7th in the state right now, and they are good. They are fast, and Perryville's going to have all kinds of trouble with them, even though it's a Class 4 versus Class 2 matchup. They've got speed to burn, New Madrid County. The O'Fallon Christian game, guys, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe this is the first game of the season for O'Fallon Christian. They're at 0-0 right now.
I'm not sure.
And I believe this is a fairly new program.
It is a newer program. I did hear that as well.
I know we had O'Fallon Christian for baseball in the spring out there at Afton. They had a game that we did. I think that was against DeBerg, by the way. But O'Fallon Christian, obviously no stats, no anything, so it's going to be a whole new experience.
And we are back with our final segment here, our honorable mention segment here. Our honorable mentions this week from Grandview, Wyatt Kime. He has 11 rushes, 104 yards, 1 reception for 81 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 returns, 49 yards, and 11 tackles, and he drove the bus home that night as well, so he was pretty busy there, Wyatt Kime. Crystal City, Caden Rafferty, I'll tell you what, 15 rushes, 128 yards. I didn't put the touchdowns down there, but I think he had 2 or 3 there. So for Jefferson, Cole Williams, man, it has been the Cole Williams show here all season long. So 21 of 37, 361 yards, 3 TDs. Just another day at the office for Cole Williams. Justin Lane, another one of those that we see on the honorable mentions a lot here from St. Pius X. 16 rushes, 238 yards, 4 touchdowns, 11 tackles, and 1 for a loss and an interception. Oh, no, I'm sorry. 1 fumble recovery, that's what it is, and an interception there, so I want to make sure I got those right. Gentlemen, you've got a lot to talk about, so I'm just going to turn it over to you guys.
Well, Wyatt Kime up at Grandview, that's I'm going to be seeing him firsthand this coming Friday as they take on Jefferson. So Wyatt Kime, the 11 carries, 104 yards, and then the 1 TD reception for 81 yards, 11 tackles, and then, once again, check marking all the other boxes, kind of same day at the office that Lane had for St. Pius. But no, Ray, to answer your point about Raftree, and it is more like Raft Tree, not Rafferty. He didn't have any touchdowns, but I wanted to specifically highlight him because he didn't have any, but he set up all the other ones that Eisenbeis had, the one that Bolton had, to where, again, having eyes on that game like we were wanting to get, I think bode our analysis well. That, again, you could have seen Bolton's day on paper and Eisenbeis's day on paper. That I think it was the play of Raftree that set everything up, and I felt warranted at least of that nomination. And I mean, what is there to say about the work that Cole Williams is doing for that Jefferson Blue Jay program right now? And 39 yards short of a 400-yard day at the office, you are going to be hard-pressed to find many Jefferson County teams. And this is, and I'm including Hillsborough into this as they do throw the ball around. I can't find a program that was close to 400 yards passing in the Jefferson County area. I mean, you see that all day. You see Sansone up there at SLU. Masters at any given point for DeBerg, he can pull out a 350, 400 day, but rarely, I think, do you see something like that in the Jefferson County ranks. And I'll close up my book and I'll let Mr. Jeff finish it out.
A couple things real quick. Just 2 impressions. He's not on the honorable mention, but we didn't really talk about a whole lot. Isaac Walker for Grandview in that game, 14 tackles, 10 solo. So he was all over the place for the Eagles in that game. If you're Justin Lane and you're watching this, Justin Lane fans, you got to be thinking to yourself, man, what do I have to do to win Player of the Week awards? I've been like honorable mention every single week. Well, Justin, if you're watching this, you go down to St. Vincent and have a convincing win, put up some good numbers, and you probably will be Player of the Week because that's a huge game for the Lancers. So we'll be watching that one closely.
Absolutely. Well, that wraps up Upon Further Review. We'll be back again next week. Don't forget, we'll let you guys know here what we've got going on this weekend here. Again, we wrap it up here real quick. Grandview at Jefferson, 6:45 on Livestream STL. We have North County at Windsor. That'll be over at Livestream STL South. And then we'll have Friday Night Blitz on a Saturday. The DeBerg Cavaliers take on the Christian O'Fallon Eagles. That will be a noon start. We'll probably have that 11:45 as our pregame. For Ray Halbrook, for Matt Bates, and Jeff Whitener, all of us here at Upon Further Review. We'll see you next week.